Hi, my name is Angela, and this is the last video discussing clinical rotations for pharmacy students in pharmacy school. And I'm specifically talking about residency preparation. If you are residency bound and you're on clinical rotations or going into that field or that area of study, I'm just going to finish our discussion about kind of the recommended things that I would tell someone to have a successful time juggling both clinical rotations, APPEs, and also prepping for residency. So I finished up talking about what you would do around November, specifically finalizing your CV, notifying your preceptors for letters of rec and other members or other people that you have writing you recommendation letters. December is when you attend mid-year, and usually there's about 2 days where you actually are going to interact with programs and get to talk to them. Again, I did it virtually because of COVID, but it would also be in person. They have about, I think, 3 sessions over 2 days, which are just specifically called the Residency Showcase, where different programs come and highlight their program and you get to talk with them one-on-one. So that's going to be part of your December, is going to be attending mid-year. Hopefully, I think it's a very wise decision for most people. And then afterwards, just a tip, I sent some thank you emails to people, thanking them for interacting with me one-on-one. I also had their emails, so in case I had a follow-up question as I was applying, I had a contact that kind of knew me after I reached out and said thanks. But then you're going to really finalize your letter of intent. And I can go into the letter of intent in another video, but give it some time, because again, I think it's very important. It's probably not going to make or break you. Your letters of rec and like your CV are probably going to make or break you, but it can really showcase who you are and really pull the reader in and get excited about you coming to work for them as a resident. So I had my family review my letters of intent, and I really enjoyed. They caught a lot of grammar errors. They told me how they viewed me after reading the letter of intent and their impression of me, which surprised me in some areas. So how you come across may not always be super clear to you, but that was something I really enjoyed doing. And it was tough writing letters of intent because I'm not a writer, so I gave it a good span of time before I finally submitted my applications. I also kept in contact with my letter writers, probably weekly reminders as it got really close to deadlines, like, hey, it's getting close to this deadline. I just want to remind you about the letter application, or submitting your letter of rec. So that's something else I was doing at this time. But then you submitted your applications, and then you also started just kind of taking a breath after that whole big process. Some applications are due in January, some are due in December. Most of mine were due January 1st. However, I was able to complete my forecast profile, complete all of my letters of intent and all of my stuff so that it was really done in December, so I could just have a breather, because I had a rotation in January and wanted to just enjoy. I had December off, so I wanted to just enjoy some time. Taking a breath before going into January, where I started prepping for interviews. And you maybe could start later, but I actually heard of a lot of students who had interviews in January, and I didn't have any interviews in January. I only had them in February, but some people had them as early as mid-January or late January. So you should start prepping. If you don't want to take the break, start prepping in December, but if you do want to take the break, at least the beginning of January, you should start prepping. And I'm going to go into a lot of different videos on interview prep because it was extensive, and I did not expect a lot of what I had to prepare for. So I'm hoping to provide some insight and feedback into that process later. But you're going to prepare for interviews, and you're going to start some interviews. And then after your interview, you should be sending thank you notes. You should be sending thank you emails, whatever you prefer. That's pretty much a must, in my opinion. With the ASHP mid-year, maybe it's you don't have to, but after interviews, it's pretty much a must that you should thank them for the interview, thank them for the opportunity to get to know them and to see their program more closely. So January, you should be getting those emails that you hopefully have interviews, or you're going to be getting those rejection emails, which are also very tough. So make sure you have someone to talk to about that, because that'll be a really tough part of this process. You will get no's. Not everyone will say yes to you. So whenever there's a really great program that you liked that says no, you're going to have to deal with that. But you'll get through it. There will be some who say yes. So February is, you continue interviews. And then you start reflecting on your interviews and thinking about how you're going to rank your residency programs that you're interviewing with. So, some people push this off after all the interviews are done, push it off to the end, but I just reflected after each interview, kind of made some notes, talked to some family members. A really good tip I got was to talk to the same person after every interview, and then at the end, they could kind of tell you what they thought or what they saw after you've gone through the process. Like, hey, I thought you sounded really excited after this one interview, but you're ranking it really low. So why is that? You know, they can kind of be that person who's seen consistently what you've thought after all of your interviews and be that guiding voice. But you're gonna have to take it with a grain of salt because they may not know that much about pharmacy or that much about residency interviews and all that stuff, but it really helped me. And then in March, you're gonna submit for phase 1, and the results from phase 1 come out, I think, a week or 2 weeks after you submit your rankings. So it changes every year, it's not on the same day, but match day is the day when, after you've ranked your programs and the programs have ranked you and other students, match up and see if you have a good enough ranking match, and then you get those results on match day. Or you'll get a notification that you didn't match, and then you would enter into phase 2. And phase 2 is very quick. This whole timeline we've laid out is not at all reflected in phase 2. You're basically restarting the application process, writing maybe new letters of intent, most likely new letters of intent, updating your CV from your January, February, March rotations and all that kind of stuff, adding that information. You're going back into forecast, refilling out your profile, probably updating it to maybe see where you didn't pay enough attention to that maybe you need to improve. And then you're going to start looking at programs that also have spots open because they didn't match all of their candidates in phase 1. So that's a really quick turnaround, really quick process. I think it's about 2 weeks total. So we just talked about all this over like months and several weeks with the interviews and that whole process. So it's very quick turnaround. They call it the scramble because of that. But that's when you'll start if you didn't match in phase 1. And then in April, you'll submit your ranks for phase 2 and kind of get those results, I think, about a week after you submit it. And then, you know, there's a post-match process, I guess, where there's some programs or companies that maybe have some spots left over they didn't match in phase 2, and that's all done offline, like off of ASHP, NMS, forecast, all that stuff. It's pretty much done one-on-one with the program and having that discussion. But at this point in April, it's really just starting the onboarding process for hopefully your new residency. It's notifying your people who wrote you letters of rec saying thank you for supporting me, here's where I'm going. You know, people love to know when they've helped a student or helped someone out. They'd love to know the outcome of that and where they're headed the next year. So be sure to thank the people who helped you get there. And then you're really just moving on to scheduling your exams, because most programs will require you to be licensed within 90 days of starting your residency program. So you're going to start looking at your, you know, if it's the same state that you live in, great. If it's a new state, look at their application processes for pharmacists and start understanding maybe a timeline of taking the NAPLEX and then the MPJE for that state that you're maybe moving to or the current state that you're staying in. So that's pretty much an overview of preparing for residency when you're on rotations. Hopefully it was helpful. Any questions or comments, just put them below in the chat. In the next video, I'm going to talk about kind of graduation, because I am graduating, and just kind of the process and what I thought about pharmacy school, and maybe some big takeaways from that. So hopefully that'll be helpful. But like the video if you liked it, and share it with someone who you think you could help. So have a good day.